Welcome everyone. There's some people adding here, but my name is Tim DeJarlais. I'm the sales manager for Swing Catalyst. Been with the company for about 8 years. We, during the lockdown here, decided to provide some information about our product. The company comes from Trondheim, Norway. Developed as a software company and actually started with ski jumping. And it's fortunate and unfortunately at the same time that most people know us as a sensor plate company. I do try to reach out to everyone, and even at all your coach camps, Andrew, and that's why I want to reach out to you as well, is that you do stretch out and say that Swing Catalyst is a software company, and I do appreciate that. And want to get you, I know you've been really busy and a pro at this whole webinar thing, and you've been busy with your lockdown learnings, and I wanted to introduce Andrew Rice. Andrew Rice is a top 100 golf instructor. He's top 50 by Golf Digest, #1 in the state of Georgia, working at the Westin Savannah Harbor Golf and Resort and Spa. So Andrew, welcome.
Tim, how you doing, bud? Thanks so much for having me on. I think it's kind of funny, actually, that you and I live a few miles apart. But I never see you, and I must say this is the most I've seen you. You're always on a plane traveling somewhere, and now you're home and locked down. And I'm normally out on that lesson teaching, and now I'm home and locked down. And so we've had to adapt, haven't we? And so it means learning a little bit of new technology and how to get this Zoom and Facebook Live and everything going. And it can be a little hairy, but I know that everyone who's listening in appreciates it, and they are a little bit more patient than they might normally be, understanding that we've all got a bunch of new stuff that we're learning.
That is
what
true.
You been doing with yourself, Tim?
Just busy. I've been actually doing a lot of recordings on how to use the software, to installing the software, to showing how a lens works on a camera. So I've been doing a lot of exciting stuff.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. You know, I know we wanted to talk a little bit today about different ways that we can use the app on our phone. And I must say, you know, I know back in the day, a lot of coaches, gee, it seems like so long ago now, I used to use that big, bulky 300 FPS Casio camera, and you never see those anymore simply because the phones have become so good. I use an iPhone for in every one of my lessons, no matter what type of a lesson it might be. If it's a full swing, short game putting, even on-course stuff, I'm recording my lesson summaries, my full swings. I'm using everything on my phone. And so I really need to get creative and come up with some new and innovative ways to paint a picture for people. And I think we all know, and I know in discussing earlier, Tim, we said that there's primarily golf coaches listening in, and I would imagine that that would be the case. But we've got to get beyond just basic down the line and basic face on camera angles. Certainly, we want to get good at that, and I believe that all of us who do use some type of an app to record our students, no matter what it is, if you're doing that, you're pretty consistent when it comes to the angles and the height. I know I use a tripod. I would encourage everybody to use a tripod simply because you want to be able to hold your camera steady. And with Swing Catalyst app, we have the ability to draw lines on the screen. If you are hand holding your camera, those lines become a complete waste of time. And so tripod, #1, is a huge necessity. We must have that. Down the line, basically, I like to position the lens of my camera right on the hands. And so the tripod can be a little bit above the hands, but I like the lens of the camera to be right on the hand line, so to speak. Some people will vouch for on the ball line. Some people say, oh, you've got to have it on the knees. I just like to do it there. I haven't found there to be one way that's better than the other, but the best way is the consistent way, so that us as coaches, we're getting a consistent look at golf swings. We're getting this predictable look at golf swings from face on. I generally will step back. I'll take a look at the ball position and go, where does the ball position look? And then I work towards positioning my camera in a position such that the ball position on the camera looks the same as it looks to me in real life.
That's really nice.
And I know that sometimes when I plunk the camera down, it can appear that the ball position has shifted. And so I try to get the view on the camera to make sure to match what I'm seeing in my eye pertaining to ball position. And so that's how I try to do the basics down the line and face on.
Yeah.
I wanted to get into a little bit of different stuff here today, perhaps some new ideas. I'm always trying to come up with creative ways. Ultimately, as a coach, what do we have to do? We've got to paint a picture for a student so that the student can come away with the right feels, the right idea, and that right mental image. Tim, would you agree?
Yeah, no, definitely. Absolutely. Everything you're saying, because even from going back to, like you first mentioned about we've come a long way since the phone. I mean, I can remember using the big camera and then putting the tape in and drawing on the TV and wiping the whole TV screen off, and then, your your recommendations in regards to the position. It's interesting because I think the main thing is consistency. I installed a system with Matt Kuchar, and we normally put our cameras right about 3 feet 7 inches in height. And I put it right at that height. And when I was all done with the installation and reviewing everything with him, Matt looked at me and was like, "Is that the height that you put it at?" And I said, "Yeah, that's our standard height." He goes, "Well, I like it up here." And he raised it up 2 more feet because that's how he likes to see his swing. And, that's the thing, that if you're sending in your swing or whatever you're doing, follow the recommendations of the person that you're working with, because that way, if you're putting the camera too far out or too far in, it will skew the angle of the club.
That's an excellent point, Tim. I must say, it's certainly, I look at most of the videos I look at are ones that I've filmed. And so I get this consistent perspective. And as a result, as I scroll through that swing frame by frame by frame, you get accustomed to seeing things from a certain angle. And if it looks off, then you can go, well, that swing's off. And it isn't necessarily the case. It could oftentimes be that the angle is off. And so we want to try to, as coaches, certainly remain consistent. However, we must get to a point where we can step outside of that. We can step outside and get different angles. I would encourage all coaches out there, break this app out and film from behind the player, simply because I think we're going to get some good perspectives on certain elements. For example, and I don't know how this is coming across, but let's say this is the trail hip and this is the lead hip. If you film a player from behind, you're going to see that trail hip elevate. You're going to see the lead hip go down. You'll actually start to hopefully see some of this occur as the player's getting into transition. But you never want to see in transition, you never want to see two things. You never want to see that lead hip get up, and you never want to see there be a very quick change out. And if you've got someone who's getting tippy coming into impact, tippy and flippy, they obviously go together. I would encourage you to have in your database a database of decent players, better players from behind, where you can show how they're actually maintaining that left side, lead side tilt, for left side for right-handed players, lead side tilt into the downswing before they start to push the lead foot into the ground. And that's what gets that lead side of the pelvis tilted up. You can get some good information from back there. I love, particularly when it comes to short game, I've really started lately to film players from face on, because I find that too often as players swing through, they tend to hold the club head out And I would much prefer for in the finish for the club head to have worked and rotated on the arc back to the inside. And so you can really share some good information. Obviously, let's keep it to little chip shots and maybe small short pitches. But that's a good spot to record, particularly for wedges and the like.
Yeah.
I like to do that. Uh, what else you got, Tim? You were going to
Well,
say something it looked like?
yeah. And you also, everyone just, I think, believes or thinks that they should just use it for full swing, but you can use it for putting. And you actually sent over some videos in regards to putting, and maybe I could pull up one or two, and you could discuss a little bit about
Oh,
why you film.
that would be great. That would be great.
So let me go. Actually,
If you can pull up there's one with like a red putter, very low angle from down the line.
see here. Every
Yeah, we got that
can everyone see
one.
that?
That with the white shoes, red putter. I see it there.
This one right here.
That's the one.
That's the one right.
So this is actually a gentleman who used to work for Swing Catalyst, interestingly enough. His name's Blake Shue, and he's one of the best putters, which drives me crazy because anything that Blake does better than me is just, more reason for him to inform me that he's better than Blake's a good buddy, but I think filming putting with the camera laying on the ground, not ground, but in horizontal fashion, filming along these lines is really, really helpful when it comes to putting. Tim, have you got other putting? And that really is a good putting stroke, I must say, too. But the two glasses one, and this is helpful, to all the golf coaches out there. Ladies and gents, we've got to get creative, and this is part of two video that I've filmed that I'm going to be putting out on my side as to what things golfers can be doing whilst we're all. This is certainly my favorite way to film the putting stroke from in front of the putter, nice straight 6-footer, lay the camera on the ground in that horizontal landscape fashion, and set it as, which we've got, and make sure that the lens is right behind the center of the hole. Don't necessarily put the camera behind, lens behind the center of the hole. And to me, there's so much you can see here. And it's a little bit choppy because of the internet. But it really is a cool way to connect with your students pertaining to putting. They're going to something they never see. We all know what it should look like. It should look very simple. Here, there can be some different things going on. We really are going to look for a nice, simple, straightforward looking stroke from here. The two glasses, if you're looking for something to do at home, and guys are as creative as I am, certainly when it comes up to these kind of ideas, but the two glasses or the two obstacles, whatever they might be, are too hard. And I'm putting this from, I would say, 4 feet away, and just come up with little challenges. These are ways for stay engaged with their game. The one thing I've really tried to remind myself of during this lockdown period is golfers still love golf. Still love golf. They're still thinking about golf, and just as if they were at work, they would be thinking about golf. Well, now they're at home and they're thinking about what can we as coaches do with our phones, with our apps, slow motion, regular speed, face on, down the line. What can we do to start to engage our students and our client base when it comes to golf? They're thinking about golf. Let's help them out. Let's get with them. Let's connect with them so that we can start to become a bigger part of their golf landscape. What do you think, Tim?
No, absolutely. No, I appreciate that. And Swing Catalyst, we do have an app, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to have this seminar or this webinar. If as either a Swing Catalyst over, and even if you're not a Swing Catalyst owner, you can download our app. It's free. Just go to your app store, type in Swing Catalyst, and you get a pretty good app. And Andrew, if you don't mind, I'll show some things about the app and what you can do.
Please do. It's very good, I think.
Great. So what you can do with it is that you can film any portion, if it's the full swing or putting like Andrew just demonstrated there, and you can actually share it with the Swing Catalyst user. So if the Swing Catalyst instructor has the software, you can actually send them your swing, and they can provide a lesson recording to send right back to you on your mobile device. So again, it's free. The whole transition's free using the cloud. And definitely do suggest everyone to download it on iOS or Android. Download the app, film your swing, talk to your instructor, and see if they can, give you some tips and keep improving during these times. So everyone can hopefully see up in the right-hand corner there is the app. And once you log in, you can actually put in your picture and some information so they know who it's coming from. And as an instructor, if there's anyone that has sent you the swing, it would come up in this area. Down at the bottom, you'll see the little Explorer, little folder. I'm going to press on that, and this is where all your swings are stored. There's also at the top lessons.
Come on, Tim, show us your swing there. Show us your swing.
We'll get to it, buddy. Hang on there. At the top where all the lessons are, and then Andrew talked about comparing yourself, or especially down the line with some hips. So we actually do sell some of the tour swings as well. So you can have a look at those and go ahead and download some of the swings to compare yourself to. So basically the way it works is I'm going to put on capture here so you can see what it looks like. Up in the upper left-hand corner, you can press on what club you're using. If you're right-handed, left-handed, there's some things there. And then there's the picture. So this is nice in regards to being consistent, which we spoke of. And then if you wanted left hand, or even nothing. So this would be maybe a good one for putting. And then there's a timer up in the upper right-hand corner, and you have the flip down the bottom right-hand corner there. So once you take the swing, it will ask you, depending on the length, to go ahead. There's a little silver triangle or orange triangle at the bottom to slide it to impact. And then that will set it, and you just save it at that point. So then you have a recording like this. So here, Andrew, you wanted, actually, let me get the down the line, because you were talking about that. We'll see how I do with the down the line. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah. You can actually use your fingers to zoom in and zoom out. You can drag it across the bottom to play the swing. You can actually go frame by frame if you're just tapping on it. We spoke about drawing. There's different drawing tools. Here we go. There's different drawing tools you can use. So let's just take circle. Just drag it in there. If you miss, just hold it down and, oops, let me delete that one there. Start again there. So there we go. So you just put it right in the middle like that. Press down at the bottom, and again, now you can move. You talked about hip. I didn't have my shirt tucked in, otherwise you could have looked at my hips a little bit better there. So that's one thing you can do with it. You can compare it. Let's see if I have a swing here. This is an older one. So again, I can go ahead and compare it from my old swing to maybe a newer swing or when I was out playing. And if you get this, let's say at the top of the swing here on both, I can actually lock it together. So then it's synchronized together almost.
That really is great.
But you get the idea there. And then you can actually then, you see right there, share it on social media or share it with a user. So that gives you a little idea about how the app function is pretty basic. But again, if I pull up the software here for a second, let me type in my name. So you see how this works. So let's say I sent this to you, Andrew. You go into your software. You can actually log in the upper right-hand corner. Put that there. So set your details, log in. And here's all the recordings that have been sent or I've taken that I have up in the cloud. So here's the swing right here. that I actually had from my phone. So you can download it into the software. See which one that was. So I didn't load maybe that particular one, but here's a swing here. So I can open it up. I can do a lesson recording, go back up, send it up to the cloud, and then send it back to someone on their phone. For instance, like this one here. I actually had a review of the swing like this. Let's see if I put that one up front. So then you can have it like this. So it's a good way in which you can connect with your golf instructor, especially these times. You can swing inside, make some putts, send it to your golf instructor. They can record a lesson, send it back to you, and just keep up that correspondence and keep working on the game.
Tim, that really, really is great. It does so much more than just using your phone to record swings. It really does. And just the ability to be able to, yes, it's nice to draw lines. We can't do that on our phone, but it's also super cool to be able to upload it to your coach. And I know, keeping in mind that we've got mostly coaches here, it's up to us coaches to get out there and go, okay, let's start this initiative. Let's encourage our students how to do it. Create a little video where you use the app and show people how to do it. Just like Tim, that looks like you're out in your backyard there, Tim, just making a few swings.
Yes, I am. Yes.
Okay. And people have the ability to do that. They can go outside, roll up some paper balls or whatever, and smack those around their backyard. Have them film some and send them to you, and charge them. Here's the kicker. Okay, charge them nothing. Charge them nothing, and they will never ever forget what you did for them as a coach and how you went out of your way to help in a time when they didn't have access to golf. You know what's going to happen when everything gets back to normal? They're going to come to you and you've got a customer for life. And that's really, I think, a great approach, certainly in these times. Yes, we all need to make some money. We all need to charge some money. But there are things we can do at the moment as a coaching body, as a golf coaching community, as a golf technology community, to build really long-term relationships and develop customers for life. I think that really is cool. It's so neat the way that works. And get creative. You know, one thing I do with my camera is every now and then I've got a player, and I'm sure many of you see this, that will take the club up to the top and just let go. And they've got this really long swing, and you know, their arms look okay, but they're letting go with their hands. Take your camera off of the tripod and get in really close and say, hit one, and record it from there. That way, 240 FPS, slow-mo, that way, as the player gets up to the top, and you can scroll through and say, hey, check this out. Look at how you're letting go of the club. Don't be afraid to break with something that we typically do. You've got to step outside the lines. Don't be normal. We can all be a little bit different, and we should be. Film something that you want to show the person from an unusual, different angle, a different perspective, just to help get that message across. For example, Tim, one of my favorites is short game. I think, and we all know this as golfers and coaches, wedging, it's so important to get that crisp strike. And it's important with everything, but certainly less so with putting, more so with chipping. So put that camera in there. I think I sent you one the one at the bottom with the red shoelaces. This was filmed on a dewy morning, adding a shot where the student is holding the camera. And I said, come on, get down nice and low. The grass, you can see there's a lot of dew on the ground, and I hit a little pitch shot from get really close up and filmed it in slow motion. But watch as the club comes through here. Watch how the club is in contact with the ground for. Come on, Andrew, swing this club. Get it going. you can leave it right there, Tim. You know, I think that paints a cool picture because the camera's in a non-traditional location, but just due to the marking on the ground, how long it actually contacted the ground for. And it's not, that strike felt really, you can see. But this is a cool way to communicate to your students and start to get them to see things the way you're attempting to get them to see things. There you can see all the water flying, but clearly you can see where the club first touched the ground. It's about an 8-inch to 10-inch zone where that club is brushing. That's perfect, Tim. That's awesome. Thank you, mate. It's really cool to be able to see those kind of things. And so just be creative. Think outside the box. Play around with the app. You've got that 240 FPS. I would recommend film almost everything in that. Every now and then I want a player to see their rhythm, their tempo, that flow in their motion of 240 and use it in regular full speed. But just get creative. Think outside the box. Break the norm in an effort, in an endeavor to communicate what you're trying to get across to your students.
That's great, Andrew. I appreciate it. I know that the team has been answering some of the questions that we've had up come on Facebook there. One of the questions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. One person had suggested if they buy a plate, or they asked if they purchase a plate, is the subscription included? And it is not. The hardware is totally separate. The cameras, the balance plate, the 3D motion plate is totally separate than our software. The subscription, you can pay monthly, pay yearly. Right now it's $49 for up to 2 cameras, so it's $49 a month. It's $490 for the year, so we give you 2 free months if you were to do that. If you had over 2 cameras or any integration with our supported launch monitors or our sensor plates, then it goes to $99 a month or $990 a year. And again, the app is free. As long as you have a license or a subscription, you can do the app, the lessons, and send that out. But I like that you're be creative, like you say, Andrew. And anything you want to mention before we wrap this up? I know you're busy with the lockdown learning. You got another one here within the hour. So anything you would want to add?
Tim, I would say this, at all levels, one thing that's come up a lot in these learning sessions is the rollback. Let's talk about rolling the ball back and doing something different. Well, here's the deal. The best players during rollback are still going to be the best players. And as a coach, here's the deal. When we're in normal times and you're out there giving lessons, the best coaches are going to be those creative, outside the box thinkers, passionate learners, always looking for more. And when we're under this lockdown and everything is shut down and we can't do it, I'm telling you, you've got to start challenging yourself as a coach, even as a golfer, if you're on here as a golfer. What can you do during this time? And Mark Crossfield said it beautifully the other day. He said, picture that everyone's waiting to get into this store, and the store has got this amazing sale, and the doors are locked, and people are jammed at the front door waiting to get out, just like we're waiting to get back to work and waiting to get out there and play some golf. He said, well, one day those doors are going to open. What can you do now as a coach or as a golfer to be prepared for when those doors open? And so I'm going to challenge everybody here. Bust out this app, use it, play around with it, get in touch with your students. Let them know that, yes, you're having a hard time, they're having a hard time, but encourage them and engage them. They want a distraction. Be their distraction. Help them with their golf games and really go out of your way to give them something for free, give them something of value, because you'll have a customer for life and you will grow as a coach.
That's great. Thanks, Andrew. And we did have one question right at the end there. If we can do voiceovers on the app.
Yes.
And we can't do voiceovers on the app, but we are looking into that. But I will say that being around Andrew for so many years and being with him on the lesson tee, I think, Andrew, you do a really unique thing, and we'll wrap up with this, is that at the end of the session with an individual, you'll take their phone right out from them, and you will record with them, with their voice, with their picture, whatever it might be. I don't know if you want to just touch on that really quick, but I think it's a really unique thing to do, right?
Sure.
I think it's using their device.
Yeah, it's so important for a student to leave with something. And back in the day, Tim, you mentioned it earlier, you'd give a student a big old VHS tape. We don't need to do that nowadays. And so one of the things that I love to do, and I do it in every lesson, is I'll say to the student, I'll either upload it for them, or I'll say, okay, get your phone, hold it, turn it on, point it at me. Can you see me? Is it going? Okay, here we go. Here's a summary. This is what I want you to take with you. This is what I want you to work on. And so they've got this cool little video that is going to really serve two purposes. And this is how I treat it. Number one, it's information for them that they can refer back to. But number two, they can take it and they can show their buddy, or they can show their spouse, hey, check out my lesson. This is what I've really got to work on. And I think that serves as a nice marketing tool for coaches as well.
That's fantastic. Well, Andrew, thank you very much. You have another Lockdown Learning here at 2 p.m. So go to Instagram, I think it is. You'll be there again. You'll keep going. If anyone has questions in regards to swing catalysts here in the United States, you can reach out to me at tim@swingcatalyst.com. You can reach Carl who takes care of the rest of the world, at carl@swingcatalyst.com. On Thursday, just in 2 days, Dr. Scott Lynn will have guest speaker, Hall of Fame instructor Mike Adams. They are going to talk about if you're a glider, spinner, or launcher. And then next Tuesday, I'm going to drop it over to Liam Mucklow from Golf Lab up in Canada, also in California. I believe he's going to be with Jason Bale from Jupiter Hills, doing something special. So keep an eye out on the Swing Catalyst Facebook page and social media for more updates. Andrew, thanks again. Stay safe on the other side of the bridge, and say hi to your lovely wife as well.
Tim, thanks, mate. I really appreciate it. And if anyone out there has any questions pertaining to Swing Catalyst, I know that you are the man. You're so awesome at your job. You inspire me, partner, and I really appreciate being invited to come on. Hi to all the guys over in Trondheim in Norway. I hope you guys are hunkering down, and the weather's going to start to get better, and we're going to get out there soon. Thanks so much, everyone.
All right. Thanks, Andrew.